All right, everyone, hello and welcome to the third and final moto of our first of 3 Triple Crowns of the season, yet again on Minnesota RX. So yeah, unfortunately this one, not doing this one live. The third moto got cheesed a little bit, so this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do what I have with the MCC film, because I don't have it all, because this game's great. So I'm going to do what I have, and then we'll go to my stream VOD, because that's all I got. So it is what it is. We're just going to try to work with it. And I guess we'll just end the game after the first 2 motos. It just sucks because, like, obviously not having to end the game and just like running it's just so much smoother. And then when we end the game with MCC, you never know, with like people getting cheesed out of the lobby, like just potentially like even more dumb issues and like waiting time. But it's just what we're gonna have to do to get the film in the future, unfortunately. All right, so let's go through it. It's gonna be Camby, Matt, and Coop again. Camby getting hit, if you don't recall, with that really unfortunate black screen at the end of the last moto. Opix, Roman, and Hunter. Armada, Soul, and Detail. Luke, Vulcan, and Solange. Luke going to be throwing the nade on this one, and it's going to be nades out. It's going to be another 16 laps. On the checkpoint count, we're going to be going to 95, but we're green. See how we get through this first section. And pretty good. I mean, I think that was better than the second moto. That might have been the best. I'll give a little. Well, I can't really clap right now because I'm trying to record, but I will give a nod of appreciation that you cannot see on the screen, to everybody for already some wall cheese, for doing that section pretty well on the first lap. And you see not that many people electing to the inside, but a few people going to the inside. A lot of people going for that outside line. But I think the inside might have worked out pretty well right there, potentially with that big stack up. A lot of people going for the Joker early on. So we're seeing a few of those runs. That exit. Yeah. Pretty tough exit there. Got to find that right timing. First lap down. Yeah, I don't remember. Oh! What just happened there? What was that? Let's watch this again. So some big sends. Detail lands on Solange. And Solange gets, like, RKO'd, basically, by Detail there. I'm not really sure what that one was. It was an unfortunate send, and I'm kind of surprised that Solange got the worst out of that, the way that looked, but that was a weird one. Oh no! And Matt Cheese's just got a little two-wheel, and Solange was just a little too close in the back, and not really much he could do, and that's a rough start. So it's going to be still not over, but going to be a rough start. Solange trying to look for the sweep on the Triple Crown, taking the first 2 motos on the night, with a start like that. What? Okay, that pause, that was MCC. I don't know. That was weird. But we're back. Oh, that was the lag spike. It actually showed in theater. Wait, hold on. Let me confirm this. It actually shows the lag spike in theater. So look, Roman and Luke battling here. There it is! What the hell is that shit? Oh my god, it actually shows it in theater. Look at this. Look at this. Watch this. Good side-by-side battle. Luke potentially taking the spot here. Roman gonna battle back. Oh, and then now he's in front. What the hell was that? I'm so glad that theater actually showed that. I'm surprised. That's absurd. Yeah, this track's cursed. I don't know. Soul almost dying out of the Joker, but holds on to it at the end. Yeah, this track's absolutely cursed. There's no way. But yeah, so that's gonna. Oh my god, what is going on in the back? But that start for Solange gonna put him in a weird spot. He's already taken a few spots, so he's on that comeback train. But at this point in time, it's probably gonna be for him. Early in this moto, probably thinking about the sweep, but with that start, it's probably like, all right, let's try to get the overall now, which obviously with 2 wins is going to be in a very good spot for that. Going to have a very nice advantage there, so we'll see if he can hold on to that one, which would be a pretty big one for him if he can take it. That'll be, I mean, he already got his first 2 moto wins in the season, but it'll be his first overall on the hog end of the side of things for the year. Taking a moto win in the grand final of the end of last season and getting a couple moto wins tonight, but hasn't gotten an overall yet on the hog end. So if he can hold on to it, that'd be his first overall here in the hogs on the year. And in I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he's gotten an overall in the hogs before. Maybe he hasn't. I honestly don't know. Maybe he hasn't. He's definitely won races. I'd have to go back and check. Yeah, I honestly don't know off the top of my head. So, not only Slaunch competing for his first overall in the hogs in the year, he's gotten moto wins, maybe competing for his first overall in the hogs ever. I'm not 100% sure on that. It could be close. I'd have to double check it, but that might actually be a thing. So it'd be pretty crazy if he could take it here. Watch me just be completely wrong. I'll have to fact check that one. I know the first part's true. I know in the year, I know that's true. I don't know about the rest of it, but it might be. And if it is, that'd be pretty sweet if it does end up happening. Oh my god, that was. Are you fucking kidding me? And we're back. All right, everybody, watch this. And right there, it's like the opposite of what happened. Don't do it again. It's like the opposite of what happened with Roman and Luke in Moto 1. So I said it with what happened with Slaunch, but this was like a legitimate RKO coming out of Vulcan here. Like, what the hell? The actual Goomba stomp into the front flip on Detail. That's... Oh my god! And he gets murdered on the... And Slaunch gets into him and then he dies too! What the hell? That RKO just set off a whole butterfly effect of cheeses that will drastically affect this moto. Again, that is insane. One crazy Goomba action out of Vulcan, and now this mixes things up incredibly for Detail and Slaunch, who not only are two of the front runners in the points on the season, but also, two competitors. If Detail got up there, he still could have been in the running for that overall if Slaunch had a really poor showing here. And with Slaunch getting cheesed like that off of that cheesing from Detail, where he got ran over by whoever, that crazy, the crazy turn of events right there, that puts Slaunch even further back. So, so now things are getting weird. Now it's like, well, damn, Slaunch has really got to make up these spots because he has a huge advantage, but this overall, depending on who's up front and like where they finish, this overall could get really weird right now. And then again, like for points implications, it's pretty crazy too because Vulcan is the 4th place guy, like chasing them down at the moment, chasing down Detail and Slaunch right now in 2nd and 3rd in the points. And that whole chain of events that he just set off is going to benefit him massively if he can hold on to a good finish in this moto, and could be like really beneficial to his moves in the points. So that is absolutely insane that worked out like that. So, a few laps of this moto. Again, we're running out of time. We're going to have to go to my POV a little bit longer than I'd like to. It's going to be a pretty good majority of the race, unfortunately, but do what you can. It's Camby in the lead right now. It's Luke in 2nd, Roman in 3rd, Hunter in 4th, Opix 5th, Vulcan 6th, Coop and Soul. And then Detail, Slaunch, Armada, Matt rounding out the field. All right, so that is... Yeah, so Slaunch and Detail is still way in the back, and those gaps too. Like, this is going to be... This Moto 3 is going to be very weird now, and this, this Moto 3 is going to really flip things on its head for this event. It's looking like it's a runaway, but not even just for the overall win, but just like throughout the field, that might just drastically affect the points throughout the field and might, really change the picture of what we were working up towards here for how this night would work out. I don't know if there was a Joker, but Slaunch ended up behind Armada again, so I don't know if he got cheesed or if there was a Joker. Play a little battle on track, see if we could view this. Soul going for it, just trying to get ahead of Coop. And trying to beat him to the hairpin. Coop not having it. battle between them right now. Oh, Coop has got to stay on. Oh, that was close. Soul trying to stick it a little too close to the wall. Little bit of contact. He gets a really nice run off. Oh my god. Wow, he pulled it off. Incredible. Soul pulled it off and landed in front of Coop perfectly to take that spot right there. And neither of them got cheesed. That's incredible. And they're still going at it. Oh. Oh no, a cheesing for Opex. He's going to lose a couple spots here too. Yeah, we're getting close. Well, pretty soon we're going to have to go over to, and they'll be a little bit different commentating-wise, obviously, if I can just watch my perspective. But, you know, pretty soon we'll have to go over to that, unfortunately.
Lap complete.
For the rest of this moto, not much I can do about it. Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit. It's going to like half the race, too. Yeah. Yeah. Man, look at Camby's lead, though. Camby is on a recovery drive, and I feel pretty bad for him for how that black screen worked out. He's off to a great start. Like, he's in a spot where he could legit, like, take this moto and honestly be okay with that. I mean, that was a pretty brutal thing that happened to him, so if he could take this, it'd be a really good recovery for him. Wow. Right in the middle of that send when it could get spicy, and that's where the film pauses. So, yeah, I'm going to have to switch over to my perspective and commentating over that, because that's just all I have, and it'll be a little bit different style. But that's all I got, unfortunately. It just is what it is, so we're going to move over to that. All right, and now we're transitioning over to my point of view. Again, with the film getting conked, like, super aggressively. I, you know, would rather do the videos normal way, but, yeah, kind of, I don't know, kind of over it, is what it is. Pretty sure I got it on the right lap here. Hopefully it is. I think it was the send that we were about to see that happened like there. Is kind of hard to tell. From the front, but yeah, I think this is about where we're at. So, sucks that like so much of the moto is on this too, like over half of it, but it is what it is. All right, so this one is obviously going to be different, because now can only watch over my perspective, and I can't really like commentate over the race, unfortunately. So it's gonna be a little bit different for this part of the video. So rather, what I'd like to talk about for this one, just to have something. I mean, we're gonna have this battle between Roman and I going on. We had a really good battle throughout this entire moto, so you can spectate that. That'll be what most of this is. We honestly had, yeah, like a pretty sick battle. Went on like basically this entire race. Oh, got him with that one. Went for the surprise. Went for the surprise inside choice. I don't think he was ready for that one. That was a crafty move, because it forced him into that inside bump, and I was able to like dodge the bump, and I think that like worked out better than me taking the outside. So it was a pretty interesting little move right there. But yeah, you'll watch it throughout the race. It has a sick ending too. Like, our battle is pretty sweet. So yeah, that's the bright side of, you know, just getting cheesed with my POV, is that you at least get to watch a pretty good on track battle that lasts like damn near the whole video. So yeah, we get some good back and forth here on this section with the sends, and then me like starting to slow roll it and then try to protect it. It's a pretty good battle. So yeah, what I want to talk about in this one is like you know, a little bit more of like a broad thing at this point, while the battle goes on in the background. So this track, I was happy with like 50% of this track, but honestly, I was pretty frustrated after this race night for, well, two different things. Like, one thing, the tech difficulties, the film getting conked, and then also like cheese before the race, and then like apparently the version of this track that was on my files was not the right version, which I'm confused about, because it was the right name. So I'm confused at how it was the wrong version. I mean, as far as I could tell, it was the right file. So I don't really know what was going on with that. So that was kind of annoying. And then like the black screen, and then the lag that I got hit with in this race, and then just like random tech bullshit. And yeah, obviously the Moto 3 that we're watching right now, like getting conked. Like, there's so many things that just pissed me off about how this night went, like tech-wise, and that stuff. Like, it's really annoying. So obviously, like from a running it standpoint, whenever there's a night with a lot of that, can get pretty frustrating. But yeah, the other thing was like the tracks. So This track, obviously, cooked up this one. I don't think I had any help on this one at all. Pretty sure this one was just all me on this one. And, like, I'm happy with how, if I had to, like, estimate here, I'm happy with how maybe like 70 or 80% of this track turned out. But there's like a good 20 or 30 that I was really not happy with, but it was like too late to change. And one part of it is this like first section that we are just going over right there. Not happy with how that first section turned out. I don't mind like the occasional Goomba, but like the way that it worked out and how you could like cheese people like so aggressively on it, and how it was like arguably like the fast way to just like slam your face into the second jump, like that just like looks stupid, and it just is kind of stupid, and it's just not like the vision that I had for that section. So I'm kind of pissed that that section worked out that way, because it just looks awful and it kind of runs awful too. So I was really upset with how that worked out. And then we had the different versions, like we had the jump version, and the jump version had potential, but the problem with the jump version is that I think the jump version would have had a very similar issue where, like, if the person in front got a case landing, the problem with that, and that was, as far as I could tell in practice, that was like a pretty frequent occurrence. If the person in front, that was a pretty sick save, got a case landing, what would happen is, obviously everybody behind, there's only so much room you could go, and you can't adjust midair. Like, there would probably just be a ton of like first lap, second lap pileups if we stuck with that version. So if we stuck with that version, that's probably what would have happened. I think I think that was the most fun version of the section to run solo, but to race, I think it had its issues as well, and I think it potentially could have been even more conky, even though this wasn't good either. Could have potentially been more conky than what we had here. So that was the problem with the jump. The problem with the initial version that we had, which was the watch your head little like rock that went over like the finish roller or whatever. The problem with that version is or was, I'm trying to think. Oh, so like if somebody cheesed, okay, so obviously the cases you couldn't really like avoid them, and if the cases happened with the jump version, that would suck, and people would kind of like wreck off the back of you. The thing is with the headbutt check with that version is that it had like kind of a similar issue where, again, like if somebody in front cheesed it and hit the rock, I could very easily see a world where like maybe somebody could get like stuck in that and it could just get super cheesy. So I could absolutely like see a vision where like that's what would have happened with that version. So I don't think that version would have been very good either. So all the versions had like their own issues with how like this section could be conky, and I just could not get it to run the way that I wanted it to, which is pretty frustrating. And yeah, so I wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy with the Joker either, because the Joker is too short. This is a pretty long track. This is the longest track in the schedule, and it should probably have, it doesn't necessarily have to have the longest Joker, but it should have a long Joker to fit with that. Generally, it makes sense, I think, to progressively make the Jokers a little bit longer, depending on the track length. Obviously, there can be a little bit of variance, but having like the longest track have the shortest Joker doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And yeah, so I wasn't really happy with that either. So yeah, it's mostly just those, and then the splits as well. I wasn't really happy with how the split worked out either. It was okay, but it wasn't as good as I envisioned. And that's a lot of the track. Like I said, 70 to 80 or so. That might be like, it might be like 60 or 50% of the track that I liked, and then again the other like 40 or 50 that I didn't like. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that just didn't work out, and that was pretty frustrating. And a lot of it had to do with the object count. If I were to remake this track, or if we were to race it again, what I would do is I would just do away with the split section. Like this whole entire split, I would just do away with it, and I would do something completely different, just completely revamp this and make it not a split. And that would free up objects, and I'd be able to use those objects. Well, one, I'd be able to make a better spot in the split section. This is White Flag, by the way, and we're going to watch, if you missed it, get to watch this sick last corner battle between Roman and I here. Get the run, kick him out a little bit, and then he hits that wall, and then just perfectly opens it up, get to the left, and just barely get him at the line. So that was pretty crazy. That was a crazy finish, like I said. And then Vulcan came into it at the end. Like that was a pretty dope battle that we had for second that entire race. So I'm gonna pull up the results here, and we'll let whatever play in the background. So yeah, that was the race. Shout out to Camby taking the win on them. We'll get the results. So I'll pull them up here. But yeah, if I were to do it differently, that's what I would do. I would conk it all, and then that would give me, if I cheesed the split section, that would free up so many objects. I could make that part of the track better, and then it would give me objects to make the rest of the track better. But on the bright side, the things that didn't work out with this track is very unique, and I don't think a lot of the other tracks in the schedule will like have the issues that this track did. And I think the schedule is going to be really strong. And again, not that this track was bad, but just there was some things that did not work out properly, and in my opinion, were just not good for racing. And I don't think that those will be an issue going forward. Or if there's areas in those, tracks in the schedule, I know what to look for now, and we can, hopefully make everything pretty good for racing. Okay, so the results in that third moto. But yeah, maybe I'll talk about that more in the recap because it's thought that needs to be expanded upon more. So yeah, Camby taking the win. I ended up getting that second right at the line. Roman taking third. Fourth was Vulcan. Fifth was Soul. Sixth was Hunter. Seventh, Detail. Eighth, Opix. Ninth, Solange. 10th, Coop. 11th, Armada. And 12th, Matt. And then the overall results, Solange and Luke actually tying first place, 42-42. So that third moto was cheesy enough where it ended up, and the finish line battle ended up being important enough where it ended up being a tie. But obviously with the moto wins, Solange going to get the edge there, get the overall. So Solange get the overall and the tiebreaker, 42 apiece for Solange and Luke coming out of Minnesota. And then third, Vulcan gets the tiebreaker, but another tie. So third overall, Vulcan and Detail both 38 points. And then Roman, it could have been a three-way tie. That point made a big difference. Roman fifth overall with 37. Very tight points race in the top five overall. And then sixth, Hunter, 33. Seventh, Soul, 32. Eighth, Camby, 31. That was also very close. And then Armada, 9th with 28. Opix, 10th with 24. Coop, 11th with 19. And Matt, 12th with 17. So that was the overall result. Again, shout out to Camby for rebounding. That what happened to Camby in the second moto was just total unfortunate bullshit. But, it's also one of those things that we couldn't really do anything about. So, honestly deserved. It showed that he actually had speed, just needed the track positioning and deserved the moto win. Had people that were fast and were duking it out in second, third, fourth, and he just ran away with it. So it was really strong showing from Camby. Shout out to him for taking that third moto, and Solange on taking the first two. And then, again, potentially taking his first overall in the Hogs. Because I know he's been close, and I know he's won motos. I honestly don't know if he's won one, so I have to fact check that. But it may very well be his first overall in the Hogs, potentially. But yeah, taking that as well, so congrats to him on that. And yeah, we'll do a recap for this one too, because I have more to discuss, and I want to expand upon that other thought as well. So I think my idea is that we'll do a recap after every Triple Crown. So we'll do a recap as well. But yeah, that'll be it here for the Moto 3 video. Let me know what you thought on my thoughts on that. Again, it's one of those things too where it's hard. If you understand the ideas that I had for this track that I couldn't do because of the object count issues, you'd probably understand my frustration with how it played out a little bit more. And why I wanted to redo certain parts of it, because the ideas that I had, there's so much more that I wanted to do, and if I could have done it, I feel like it would have improved a lot, and it was just kind of frustrating. But it is what it is, and like I said, the rest of the schedule, I don't think we'll have as many of those issues, and I think it'll be really strong. But overall, though, in terms of to watch, except for that Moto 3 getting cheesed with the POV, but even then, at least we had a pretty good battle to watch there. In terms of viewing wise, racing wise, there were things that were frustrating, but viewing wise, it was pretty fun one to watch. So again, hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you for the recap and next week.